Welcome to the Potent Mind, where curiosity meets clarity. Ever feel like your brain has a mind of its own? Here, we explore how attention works, why it drifts, and how to train it back, gently, powerfully, and on purpose. It's not about fixing your mind, but learning to work with it. Let's get started. In the first 10 sessions, we built the basics: mindfulness, resilience, and awareness. Now, in the second half of the Potent Mind, we'll go deeper, moving closer toward lasting wellness. Thanks for staying with me. Let's keep going.
He who forgiveth and is reconciled unto his enemy shall receive his reward from God. The Quran. There are many classifications of emotions. However, up until now they've been very poorly described. I'll talk about anxiety, frustration, and depression, which are clinical states rather than emotions, but we need to be able to describe them clearly and separate them from our healthy feelings. The healthy feelings I will define are anger, sadness, shame and guilt, love and compassion, fear, hurt, pride, pleasure and enjoyment, disgust, envy, jealousy, and surprise. Now, let's look at what we're feeling, where we feel it, and why we're feeling it. Later, we'll talk about what you can do with this new information, one of the goals being that of decreasing negative emotions and increasing positive ones. We'll begin with anxiety. When you're anxious, what happens in your body? What are the physical sensations of anxiety? Bring to mind a time when you felt anxious or nervous. Remember what it felt like? Increased heart rate, sweaty, shaky, tense, butterflies in your stomach, keyed up. Generally, our thoughts are swirling around with worries and what-ifs. If you can, write down what happens physically in your body when you're anxious and nervous. You want to remember that so you can separate it out from your other feelings. Let's look at depression next. If you've ever felt depressed, what did it feel like? Generally, people describe low energy, fatigue, withdrawn, perhaps tearful. You might also describe feeling hopeless, helpless, and/or worthless. These are actually both feelings and thoughts, as you may deeply feel that things are hopeless or that you're helpless or worthless, and also cognitively believe it. This is an example of where our emotional state can severely distort our thinking. It is important that you recognize if you're feeling depressed and seek help and see that this is not a normal feeling and should not be trusted. Later, we'll talk about how feeling depressed is very different from feeling sad, and why sadness, although painful, is a normal, healthy feeling. Although not emotions in the sense of the others on our list, hunger and fullness should be described briefly, again, so we can differentiate what we're feeling in order to respond appropriately. When you're hungry, where do you feel it? It's in our gut, something like empty or gnawing feeling. Some people confuse this with loneliness. Don't. Hungry, eat. Lonely, reach out to others. Don't eat for loneliness or frustration. You can see where that goes. What about fullness? Again, in the abdomen. Overextended, full, tight, means stop eating. You can see how those of us who tend to eat for emotional reasons can build on this information, becoming more and more mindful of where we are physically on a hunger scale and of other emotions that we might be experiencing that may make us want to eat. We can learn to be prepared with alternative, healthier responses. Now we'll talk about everyone's favorite, anger. Think about a time you got very angry. What was it that got you mad? And what happened in your body when you felt angry? What did it feel like? What did you feel like doing? Don't censor it, and don't judge it. We're not talking about what you did or what you thought or what you think you should have felt. What did you actually feel like doing deep inside? If you lost control of your anger, what do you feel you might have done? Often people say that they felt like yelling, cussing, or hurting someone, felt like lashing out. People report feeling hot, boiling, or like throwing something, slamming, or hitting. These are physical feelings, impulses. Impulses make our body feel like doing things. We're not saying it's okay to do these things, but we are saying that it's okay to be angry and to feel like doing these things. Impulses are usually experienced way out of proportion to the situation, but they come from our animal brain and we shouldn't judge them as good or bad. When you feel like throwing something or hitting someone, it's okay to feel that way, but usually if we directly act out our impulses, it will lead to undesired consequences. You may have to pay Joe, the consequence man. By listening further, you'll learn to be more in touch with your impulses, to accept them as normal, to check back on your perceptions and interpretations to see whether your anger is justified or not, and to consider the best way to respond in order to get what you want. Most anger management classes and approaches are lightweight and don't really deal with the impulses which get stored up and difficult to control. Most approaches to anger are either overly intellectual or try to get you to, quote, let your anger out by pounding on a pillow or a punching bag or chopping wood, etc. Stay with me and you'll learn some amazing techniques to be more assertive, selective, and effective with your anger, more likely to get what you need, and how to let go of the anger which is not useful to you. You won't have to chop wood. We'll continue our categorization of feelings. Now that we've clearly defined the sensations of anger, we can look at frustration. When we feel frustrated, what do we feel physically in our body? Remember a time that you felt frustrated? Feels like we're trying to reach a goal or solve a problem, but something's in the way. Feels stuck, helpless, dead end, can't do it. Feels like you're restrained, trapped, sometimes feel like crying. Lots of tension. Anger is when your body feels like lashing out at someone. Frustration is when you feel stuck or helpless. Anger says protest, frustration says stuck. It's important to see the difference between anger and frustration, but often they can come together. Anger expressed appropriately has survival value and benefits in life. It can help us set healthy boundaries and protect ourselves and those we care about. When we feel frustrated, it's a signal to back up and try something different, to change what we can change and accept what we cannot. Accepting what we cannot change leads us to the next emotion, sadness. Mind Gem number 12. The way out of frustration is the serenity prayer. Changing what you can change through drive, stepping back and trying again, passion, and living a life of priorities, and accepting what you cannot change through sadness, letting go, and not judging or blaming yourself or others. Notice the ing in changing and accepting. These are active processes which we must learn and practice if you want to be truly free of excess baggage and excess fears and be more effective in life.
Thanks for listening to The Potent Mind. If today's episode sparked insight or helped you refocus, consider subscribing and sharing it with someone you care about. For more resources or to connect, visit thepotentmind.com. Until next time, be kind to your mind.